We are building something new at our coral restoration site because even though we have turned this into this, it still feels like there's a lot of structure, a lot of three-dimensionality missing compared to the healthy reef in the surrounding areas. So we are deploying these new structures to improve our oldest sites and to build ourselves a brand new fish village. But we decided to do so in a particularly rough week in the rainiest and stormiest month of the year, so things got pretty interesting in these first deployments. Alright, welcome back to Indonesia, where we are kicking things off with the building of our fish village. We've been waiting for this moment for a while now. So Yudi and Pakade are loading the first structure into the boat. We're gonna aim to deploy 2 structures today to get things started and wrap our head around the process of getting these beasts down there.
So these structures are inspired by reef ball, but the shape is more like a bell, so we're going to call it a reef bell. And the purpose is to encourage fish populations in the project site and at the same time to create more surface for a diverse coral recruits in project site. And we are going to surround one of these reef belt with a slightly modified structures that we have here. It also have more surface on the top for the same purpose.
In total, we have produced 10 reef bells for this test, and we will be deploying them all in this video. But before we get to that, let's just check in on these 2 points that Yudi made. The progress we have made in these rubble areas means our reef is looking amazing, and it is already providing a lot of habitat as exemplified by all the marine life that has moved in. However, there are 2 things we could improve here. One is making this look more like this. Just more structure really, more place for marine life to do its thing, and a better shortcut towards a more mature and structurally complex reef, because research clearly shows that these more complex reefs are more biodiverse and more resilient to any stressors that might come their way in the future. Then the second is a new idea. You see, we do our best to try and make our reef as diverse as possible, even going to the extent of using some difficult to attach species or rescuing large corals that got loose during storms. But still, we are giving priority to species that fragment a lot, which neglects all the other ones that don't, or at least it biases our reef towards those species. So we want to give a chance to all corals to spawn and land on one of our structures, and we have observed this with coral recruits popping up on the empty parts of the structures where we attach the coral, but we would like to make this a much bigger opportunity by increasing the available surface area. Hence, we have the bells and the large surface on these new structures. Okay, so now let's go deploy these things, and let's just say we picked a bit of a rough week to do so. Chansa, is it floating? Good job! So as you can see, we don't really have the best conditions for the deployment of our structures for the first time, but we're trying to get the job done. So Chansa's already floating there with she's got 2 of the inflatable bags that are holding up the structure. So now it's about finding the position to be able to get them down. So Yudi, you're gonna head down now to try to help her?
Yes. And control the lift bag.
Control the lift bag.
Yeah, control the lift bag for both hands.
Good conditions, Anka? Best conditions.
Oh, good condition.
Good job. Underwater, things are calmer on these stormy days, and it felt really nice to get some shelter in the warm tropical water. But managing these big bells down there is still not an easy feat, and in the confusion we ended up dropping this bell more than 100 meters away and in quite a bit of current, so it took a fair bit of kicking and pushing to get it to its place. We're bringing this bell to the end of Area 6, where we will be deploying structures later this year. And after setting it down, we got another one from the boat, this time a bit closer, so that by the end of the dive we had 2 deployed bells at our project site.
What do you make of the experience?
Well, it was a workout. It was cool to see, but yeah, pretty stormy conditions above water at least.
How did it go for you?
I don't think I'm gonna do that again in this weather.
You were gonna wait for a sunny day next time.
I think so, yeah. That's a good choice. It's a good decision. It was tricky. We haven't had anything with a lift bag before, so it's also, I don't know how to deploy it, like the best way to do it. And then I was trying to deploy that in the surface, but it's not working, of course. So then I have to hold the structures, the bells, but I have to half drown so I can feel the lift bag. That's how it works.
So what's the plan now? Now we go get the rest of the... So we're gonna go place these structures near the bell or surround it. And then I will also take some of the structures that are already down there in Area 5, the empty one, and move it to Area 6, where we put the bell.
We came up with the following pattern to deploy these structures in a mix of bells, flat structures, and the classic structures. Once in the water, it was a matter of dropping down the flat structures from the boat and bringing them to the site, and then going to Area 5 to collect some already deployed regular structures. For this task, the lift bags came in really handy, and it was actually quite fun to push such a large payload around so easily. Then, after arranging this first deployment, it looked like this, and it was really cool to see that we had barely stopped working and fish were already exploring the new accommodation, including this large group of red-toothed triggerfish that frequents this part of the reef. Now, when we got out, we immediately got reminded of what we had left behind. Poor Captain Bakarek up there had been battling quite a bit of a storm while we were enjoying the warmth and quiet of the reef. And I can promise you, even though this is the tropics, you still get pretty damn cold in the rain. Thankfully though for us, we were rather well equipped to deal with water. Now, you might wonder why we were in such a hurry to deploy these structures that we went out in this weather. Well, the answer is that it was our last chance for about a month or so, because Yudi and Chansa are embarking on a bit of a mission. You see, our project here will continue for a while longer, but we are looking for a new spot in Indonesia to restore. And as I'm editing this video, Yudi and Chansa are on the first tour of potential sites. Ideally, this new place should combine a bit cooler water, so it is resilient to bleaching, with year-round diving access, so we can progress at a good pace, and with a large area that has been destroyed in the past by human activity, such as blast fishing, but where it is no longer occurring, so there is no danger of destroying the new reef. So we are essentially looking for a big, large and secure long-term project to bite into. So we would like to put a call out to anyone in Indonesia who knows of a good potential site we should consider. We have added a link with a form in the description where you can get in touch with us. Your help would be really appreciated. Now, this coral restoration project has been running for a bit less than 3 years and has so far cost us around £307,000, including all the paperwork and licenses, the boat and the diving gear, the production of metal structures and the bells, and of course all the salaries for the crew who plans and builds this reef day in and day out. And the only reason we are able to sustain this project is because of our Mossy Earth members who support us with a monthly subscription. By becoming a member, you'll be empowering this team and all our other teams to continue their hard work, and I can promise you, they do work really hard because they have a passion to see these places restored, and I'm really proud that through our members, we are able to employ such smart, dedicated, and of course fun people to do such important work. It is a really big deal, and somehow I feel we are just getting started. So if you're not yet a member, you can become one at mossy.earth. The impact is real. The link is in the description and in a pinned comment down below, and you can also just scan this QR code here. Okay, so for the next few deployments, we had a bit more luck with the weather, although there was always a scary cloud on the horizon. The second deployment was early in the morning, and it was just me, Yudi, and Pakarek. This time we brought 4 bells, and with a bit more training and slightly calmer water, Yudi was even able to handle 2 bells at once. Then we got a bit more current, so it was harder to be precise, so we dropped these in the water, and instead of pushing, we just used the boat to pull them into position before going down. This became the new technique for any deployments in the future, which actually saves us a lot of time and effort kicking these things around down there. We dropped all of these in Area 6, which now has a cluster of 6 bells. Then in the afternoon, we came back with Yulia and Chansa to start arranging all of this, as Chansa is the boss when it comes to the compositions and aesthetics of our fish village, and she also figured out a new way for us to use the lift bags.
Chansa, show us what the lift bag can also be used for.
Okay.
What did you say? The lift bag can also be used for?
Yeah, maybe if you're not going to the water, like in a good day, you can use for cooking right here. It's a good fit for me.
Perfect apron.
Over the next few dives, as the main fish village was coming together, we also deployed some bells to add a bit of variety to our older restoration sites in areas 1 and 2. In area 2, we put them in a shallow part that had some gaps in the structures, and quite quickly there were plenty of fish exploring the new facilities. Then in area 1, our oldest site where we have all the big shoals, we deployed 2 more bells, a bit apart from each other in the deeper section of the site. And sorry to take another detour, but how incredible are these shoals? I mean, it's just so lively and we could not get enough of filming them, and now I feel like I want to show you all the shots that we have that I can get away with in this video because I'm so proud of these results. And so yeah, in amongst this frenzy of life in area 1, we immediately noticed that some fish started to claim their spot. As you can see, these blue-green chromies that usually come together in the big shoals together with the sergeant major and the gray chromies, they decided to quickly conquer these bells as their new home, and they got pretty feisty with all the other fish chasing them around when they got too close. So this bell design is already doing its job when it comes to providing a new type of shelter in this part of the reef, which is really cool to see. Over the next few dives, we finished our main fish village, and we immediately got a wide range of visitors there as well to check out the new 3-dimensional habitat. We got curious groups of neon damselfish eyeing up the site. There were reticulated sand perch chilling on the new flat structures, which was quite a fun and a new one for one of our projects. There were brown tang and blackback butterfly fish, among many others. And towards the end of this dive, the large group of red-toothed triggerfish came out again to envelop the fish village and see if it will make a good extension to their otherwise healthy coral reef. And I think this part we always knew would work out. I mean, fish love new 3-dimensional habitat in whatever shape it comes in, but now the interesting wait begins to see which corals will land the first settlers to colonize this brand new fish village. But for that, we're probably looking at least a few months of waiting, if not longer. So in the meantime, if you're keen to learn more about the marine life that now lives on the reef that we have created, you should consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. I know only about 30% of you watching are actually subscribed, so it might be worth you checking, because in the next episode, we will follow all the curious creatures that have moved into our reef, both during the day and at night, when all the really weird stuff comes out to play. And finally, if you like the work that we do, if you like these reefs that we create, and you have $5 a month to spare, then please consider signing up to become a Mossy Earth member. You can always cancel later, and every bit helps to fund our ambitious rewilding projects. Again, a huge thank you for your support. Until next time, cheers!